Hello and welcome to Marichat Monday. I'm Dawn and this is Dawn Chorus Writes a Miraculous Ladybug audio fanfic, and this is a lyrical one-shot. Can't fight this feeling. So I hope you enjoy it. Smash that like button, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on your Marichat Monday and all the other good treats that's coming your way, and comment down below what you think of it, if there's any story ideas or anything like that. I just love to hear from you guys, okay? So I hope you enjoy. Bye. Can't Fight This Feeling. Chat Noir POV. With Don't Stop Believing blaring in the Dupain-Cheng's living room, Chat watched in awe at Tom, who had just shifted the couch out of the way and performed a glide across the wooden floor as he jumped into the air guitar solo. How was this man so cool? Chat couldn't stop himself as he dropped to his knees, pretending he had the biggest and most dramatic guitar in his hands that would put Jagged Stone to shame. Bouncing back onto his feet, Chat and Tom stepped back into electric slide moves. Tom had been teaching him for the past 30 minutes whilst cooking dinner. Tom leant back and held his fist in the air, mouthing out the words "Don't Stop Believing" as the volume of the music dropped. They both spun round and faced Marinette with her arms crossed, looking rather disgruntled at the pair. But Chat could tell in the corner of her mouth she was trying her hardest not to laugh at the image of Chat Noir dancing with her papa to a power ballad. "Papa, Maman needs you downstairs for a customer." Marinette pointed towards the door. "And I thought you were here, Chat, to learn how to make pasta." Marinette gave him one of those looks that made him feel slightly intimidated, and yet there was a part of him which found it funny to think that she would never give Adrian that look. Jack glanced over at the half-rolled out pasta on the worktop. "It's a work in progress," and gave his princess a cheeky grin, which always resulted in at least a half smile, no matter how angry she seemed. She looked cute when she did that. "You've shown great promise, my boy. Keep practicing." Tom gave Chat a wink, followed by a pat on the back before darting out the door. "Do you want to dance with me, princess?" Chat held out his hand to her, but she remained fixed on the spot. "Oh, come on. You can't look at me like that. Have you heard that song? How can you not dance to it?" "Chat, I thought you were coming around for cooking lessons." "I'm cooking, see? Pasta. But when the song came on, I've never heard anything like that before." "You've never heard Journey, Don't Stop Believing? It's iconic." "No. If it isn't classical in my house, it's not allowed." "Oh. Papa's got a weakness to a good power ballad." Marinette finally let out the chuckle she'd been holding in. The song had ended and another auto played on the smart speaker. He hadn't noticed it begin with, but as he glanced at his princess, chuckling at the scene she had just witnessed. "I can see how you ended up doing the electric slide." The lyrics of the song filtered through his thoughts. "Can't fight this feeling any longer, and yet I'm still afraid to let it flow. What started out as friendship has grown stronger." "What's this song?" "Oh, she listened. "It's REO Speedwagon, I think. Can't Fight This Feeling. Have you not heard this one either?" "I only wish I had the strength to let it show. I tell myself that I can't hold out forever." "No, but I like it, the lyrics." "It's an excellent song." Marinette had blushed a little in her cheeks. "Anyway, we had better get this place straightened out before my mum sees it. If you want to continue coming around for dinner, Kitty." She dropped her gaze and moved over to the back of the couch, ready to push it back into position. I will make sure this place is squeaky clean, but first, dance with me, princess. Jack gestured to the spot next to him and held out his hand. Kitty, it's not exactly a song you can do the slide to. She tilted her head to the side as she pursed her lips. How is he finding all her little mannerisms cute today? Had they always been this cute? And he hadn't noticed it before? Or maybe he had. I said there's no reason for my fear because I feel so secure when we're together. You give my life direction. You make everything so clear. He stared at the surrounding room, a place he had been calling home in his heart for a while now. First to visit Marinette and have someone to talk with, and when Tom had offered him cooking lessons on a Sunday, how could he pass up on the opportunity? Here, he was his true self, and they had embraced it, regarding him as part of the family. Dance with me, princess, and I will do all the cleaning. Shaq gave her a soft smile that always brought a rosy colour to her cheeks. And the dishes? And the dishes. So will you? He held both arms out in a waltz-like pose. This one, he knew what to do. Only for a few minutes, Kitty, and then we had better. Her hands became wrapped round his, sending a strange new sensation to course through him. Her hand started at his shoulder blades, but as he wrapped his arm around her waist, gathering her in closer next to him, her hand slid down his back, sending a shiver through his body. There was barely distance between them, as her head fitted perfectly under his. A scent of strawberry and creamy vanilla lingered around them. They stepped together as one, rocking back and forth on the balls of their feet. And even as I wander, I'm keeping you in sight. You're a candle in the window on a cold, dark winter's night, and I'm getting closer than I ever thought I might. How did these lyrics suddenly make so much sense? How was it that these words were written for him at this moment? How is it his princess had become so much more to him than a friend? She was his everything. She wrapped her arm tighter around his waist as she leaned in and rested her head on his chest. He could swear she could hear his heart pounding in his chest, pushing all the air out of his lungs. He clung onto her as if she was the one holding him up. He felt her take a sharp, deep intake of breath before letting out a blissful sigh, molding their bodies closer together. She breathed for him. And I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I've started fighting for. It's time to bring this ship into the shore and throw away the oars. Forever. Were these words he was hearing replacing the lyrics with his own, or was it simply one of those moments when the world came together in perfect harmony, as if they're light shining down from a higher power? This is all you need, nothing more. This is what is important. This is home. This is love. His gaze drifted towards their fingers entwining around each other, not settling in one place, powered by the electricity forming between them. He felt it edging up his arm and into his chest, causing a burst of love to explode inside his heart. It was almost too much to bear that he could no longer contain it. Their heads moved as one and caught sight of her ocean eyes, drowning under the strength of the salty waves building at the edges. His hand drifted up her back as another shiver coursed through her and into him. She rested her head into his palm, her hair covered his fingers as she leaned back a little as he drew in closer. "'Cause I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for. If I have to crawl upon the floor, come crashing through your door, baby, I can't fight this feeling anymore. To begin with, they hadn't heard the footsteps approaching the door. My boy, how are you getting on? The doorknob rattled as the pair jumped apart as if an invisible force tore them away from each other. Chat darted towards the kitchen as Marinette grabbed hold of the couch in a pulling motion. On with the pasta! Tom bounded through the door and glanced at the two of them. Sweetheart, not like that. You need to push it back into place. No wonder you're a little flushed, if you've been attempting to shift it from that position. Chat, my boy, you should have helped her. Marinette lowered her glance and moved out the way as her papa shoved the couch back into its rightful place. Chat took a deep breath and quickly dabbed a bit of flour on his cheeks, hoping not to show the equal flushed look Tom had seen on Marinette. I'm sorry, Marinette. I hadn't realized earlier. I would have. He wasn't talking about the couch, was he? She stared at the floor and then at her hands before focusing on the open door in front of her. It's all right, Kitty. My mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. She shuffled sideways, further away from him. Never mind. No harm done. It's as if it didn't happen, Tom blurted out, glancing between the pair and the shift in atmosphere in the room. Hearing the last line of the song sing out. I like that song. Do you mind if I replay it? I'm going to see if my mom needs help in the shop. I said I'd only be a short while. She ambled towards the door, and just before she was about to shut it, her gaze caught his, reeling him in again as he swam in the ocean blue. I'm going to stay and clean. I gave my word. A smile formed across his lips, holding in his breath until he watched it mirrored on hers. With a single nod, she closed the door. So, is that a yes? Tom stood next to the speaker, beaming at Shat. I think it could be, Shat muttered, lost in the video playback of a moment he still couldn't believe had happened. Great! Now, let's see about that pasta. Tom made his way next to Shat, who was tearing tiny balls out of the lump in his hand and dropping them onto the counter as he stared at the bubbling pot of salty water. Let me take that. You grab a broom for the floor. He gave Shat a rub on the shoulder blade, followed by a pat, bringing him back into the present. Shat glanced down and saw the tiny balls of pasta dough had rolled off the counter and were landing at his feet. Oh, yes, of course. Sorry, I don't seem to be... That song has a touch of magic about it, making you see what's right in front of you, if you listen carefully to the lyrics and let yourself go. My life has been such a whirlwind since I saw you. I've been running around in circles in my mind, and it always seems that I'm following you, girl, 'cause you take me to the places that alone I never find. And even as I wander, I'm keeping you in sight. You're a candle in the window on a cold, dark winter's night, and I'm getting closer than I ever thought I might. Shat pushed the broom across the floor, finding himself singing to the lyrics whilst pretending the handle was a microphone. And I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for. He grinned, singing louder for all to hear. It's time I bring this ship into the shore and throw away the oar, forever. He loves Marinette. Utterly, completely, forever. The way that she held him and looked at him, could she love him too? He needed to know. Now. Papa Tom, do you mind if I just grab a quick word with Marinette? I have just realized... No, I don't mind at all, son. I'll get this ready for when you come back. Go, it seems important. Thank you for everything. Shat felt like he was going to burst with emotion that he never thought would happen to him. He turned his back to head towards the door when Tom's flowery hand landed on his shoulder. Shat, my son, whatever happens down the road, you are part of this family now. Shat turned round to face Tom as he continued. You are important to all of us. You. When you're ready, when the time is right, you are part of this family. Believe me when I say this. You are worthy of being loved, and sometimes it takes a while to find where you belong. But trust this, no matter what. Tom tapped Shat over his heart and let out a cough, steadying his voice. I feel no one says that enough to you. Well, apart from one person. Tom gave Shat's chest another tap before dropping his hand and placing it back on the pasta dough. Go. Don't you have something to do? Tom gave Shat a wink and then looked surprised at Shat flinging his arms around the big man. Shat had no words. His cup was overflowing to the point he finally believed it, and that he can't fight this feeling anymore. He is worthy of family love, of friendship love, but most of all he hoped Marinette. Shat released his grip and grinned. He had to trust his heart. He dashed out the door and made his way down the stairs. There she was, beautiful, with the autumn golden light beaming in through the windows and shining down on her smile as she thanked another customer. He waited until the brass bell rang out before stepping forward. Marinette, her eyes darted upwards, catching his breath. Can we... Maman, is it okay if... Of course. Take your time. Shat held his hand out for her, instantly locking their fingers together. He opened the side door, wrapping her tight against him, and jumped up to the balcony to be alone. They stood there, joined together. Their arms clung on tight as if they were still flying through the air. Princess. She brushed her head from under his chin, awakening the scent of strawberries and vanilla. The words flooded in his mind, placing him back in that moment. I can't fight this feeling anymore. You have my heart, body, and soul. Her ocean blue eyes sparkled with glistening tears. I love you, with a depth I didn't know was possible until I discovered you, who welcomed me into your home and made me believe in true love, all-consuming love. He wiped away the tears that were flowing down her face as she did the same for him. Kitty, I love you so much. I just couldn't believe that someone as amazing as you are, and I'm not talking about the suit, but the person in front of me, would choose me. She placed her finger on his lips to stop him from interrupting, and instead he gently kissed it before leaning in a little closer. I know you because I know your heart. It is giving, kind, powerful, thoughtful, cheeky, and the biggest heart I have ever known. My heart is your heart, he said as she rubbed her finger across his lips, replacing it with a kiss that was tender at first and then gave way to an explosion of emotions. They broke apart, catching their breath. He leaned his forehead onto hers, cupping her face, expecting for the moment he would wake from an amazing dream. How can he be this lucky, filled with this much love, when all he knew before was a void waiting to be filled by this special lady who showed him he was worthy of being loved, that he was enough and not a label. She ran her fingers through his hair and let out a contented sigh. I love you so much. Forever and a day. You are home for me, Kitty. That's my line, he teased, and then kissed her again. A gesture that he would never take for granted, and a love he would always be worthy of. Thank you for listening to I Can't Fight This Feeling. I hope you enjoyed it, this special. First, a Marichat Monday one shot. I hope this sets your week off in a good spring tea step. And yeah, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below what you think of it. And are you excited for next Monday and all the other one shot series and everything like that? So, I hope you have a good week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.